Hello, I'm Mark. In this set of videos, we are going to design a printed circuit board based on the RP2040 part. That is the Raspberry Pi Pico. This is only my second design with this part. First one worked great, but I didn't do it on video. Makes lots of mistakes as I'm going along. And we're going to be using KiCad. I believe I got 6.0.7 at this point. We'll see how this goes. So, okay, so let's bring up the KiCad. Now, I've deleted my preferences, so on this particular program, so it starts over all brand new. And you can see if it's asking me how I want to configure it. And I'm going to always start with the default settings here, just so we can make sure that we get everything set up the way we want. So I don't have a project file created yet or anything, so we want to start from ground zero on this. So what I'm going to do is just say File, New Project, and it's going to ask me where I want to put it. And let's, oh, I've got a place to put it. Let's go into Micros. It's an ARM-based machine. There's an RP2040 directory. And I'm going to call this, instead of untitled, it's going to be, this is going to be RP2040 V2. Okay, so we'll start with that, and I'll say save. And it creates a couple of files for me. If we look at the actual file directory that it's in, it actually created one called RP2040 V2. And if I go into that directory, it shows me, it created these files for me. The KiCad_pro is the just kind of configuration files. And the there's the PC board, which neither of the schematic or PC board we have created yet, or actually done anything, but it creates the files to start with. Now, we're going to be using the RP2040 part, and it's not actually listed in the set of available parts at this point. I'm sure it will be in the future. But if I just paste in there two files, and I'll provide those for the students and anybody else that wants them. These are ones that I created that actually do that. So now, okay, so those are in the same directory with all these other parts in the RP2040 V2 directory. So now we need to start up the schematic. So this is all there, so we can say, oh no, before we do that, we need to tell it to use these new directory or new files. So under Preferences, Manage Symbol Libraries, it comes up and says, well, because we're just starting at the first time, it says, do you want global configuration? And it says copy default global symbol table is the recommended. We're going to do exactly that. And that's what we get here. And we're going to say we want a project-specific library, because I don't want to add it to the globals. You could, but I'm going to add it to my personal one here for this project only. And then I'm going to click on Folders. And you can see that it's already just highlighted one file for me. We're going to just take that and we're just going to say Open. And that's good. We're going to say OK. So that's for the symbol table for the schematic side. And then we're going to go back up to Preferences and Manage Footprint Libraries. And again, it comes up with that same thing. And I will also want to copy default global footprint library tables, which is the recommended. So we're going to do that. Comes up with this, and we're going to do something slightly different. I'm not sure why they did that. What I need to point this at, this isn't anywhere I want to be. I want to be back in that RP2040 directory. And not only that, I want to select that directory. So what I need to be is in the directory above that, select the RP2040 V2 directory that I just created and say, open that. Oh, I did it in the wrong spot. I'm going to delete that back out. Let me go to project specific and do that same thing. So I'm in the RP2040 V2 directory, which is this. I'm not selecting a file in here. I'm selecting the directory, which is a little bit different than on the schematic side. So we'll say OK. It shows us that directory now, and I'll say OK. So that should be all I need. So let me go ahead and create the schematic, or open the schematic here. And let me shrink it to a size that makes sense for my view scope here. So here's the blank schematic. I'm going to click to zoom to max, click the add a part, and in here we should have an RP2040, down arrow, got the part itself, say OK. We're going to just drop that in right there. Now I like to put the packages in as I put the parts in. There's some reasons for that we'll explain a little bit later, but let's do this one first. And but before I can do that, it needs a part number. It just says U question mark up here. Oop. Oh yeah, we got the funky zoom stuff going on. U question mark, and if I click this one, this is annotate, and I'll say annotate and then close. It'll now says U1, and now I want to add part numbers to it. So the next two over, there's one that converts. It says assign footprints, and there's only one part on the board. It's U1, and there's no footprint there. But if I go over here, I don't see the RP2040 because, you know, it really isn't there. It's the directory that we created. So here it is, the RP2040 V2. If I click that, then clear over here on the right, there's only one footprint there. Now if I double click that, you can see it filled it in there. And now I can say OK. So now let me expand back out to full screen. So let me save that for the moment. Let me go to the printed circuit board side of the world. And again, it's going to make a way too big for my monitor here. So here's the blank printed circuit board. And now I can say, there's a button here that says I want to import what we've got. Update printed circuit board with changes made to the schematic. Okay. So it comes up with this. It says total errors 0 and 0. Great. I say update PC board, close. And here is our part. And I'm just going to drop it in here for the moment. We'll move it later. If I zoom into it, you can see that's the footprint for our existing part. Let me just save this and get that back out of the way. I'll just close that particular window. Okay, so far we've got the basic, we just got the processor on there. Now, the rest of the parts that we need are all contained in the normal library. And I'm going to break the video here at this particular point, and then we'll continue on in a moment.